Welcome to the American VetFarm Network podcast, a program of Addie's Orchard. The VetFarm Network is designed for veterans, service members, and military families who are exploring farming or getting a beginning farm business started. Through the network, participants can connect with resources, farm coaching, technical assistance, and have conversations with people working across ag. Today, I'm joined by Nick Dayton, Program Manager for Veterans and Heroes to Agriculture with the West Virginia Department of Ag. Nick is a U.S. Navy veteran who served from 2014 to 2020. After his Navy service, Nick and his family made their way home to West Virginia, where his wife's from, and now they own Oak Ridge Farm in Romney. West Virginia is home to almost 105,000 veterans, and Nick's work brings together service, small farm business development, and state-level agricultural support. Addie's Orchard had the opportunity to participate in the West Virginia Small Farm Conference in February of 2026, and this conversation continues on with that connection. Today, we'll speak with Nick about his own path into farming, the Veterans and Heroes to Agricultural program, and what veterans, first responders, and beginning farmers should know as they look for resources, markets, and support
in West Virginia. Nick, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So to start, can you tell us a little bit about your own story, your Navy background, how you came to be back in West Virginia, and how ag became part of your life today?
Sure. So I'm actually originally from Pennsylvania. I grew up in Johnstown. I decided to enlist like a lot of 17-year-olds do. I had no idea what to do with my life, and my grades in high school were all right, not enough to get scholarships, and I was always very apprehensive about taking on debt and things like that. So I thought, well, I need a few years to figure out what to do anyway. I'll go and join the military. And so I had a neighbor who was a World War II veteran of the Navy. He was a gunner's mate, and I used to really love listening to his stories about his time in service in the Pacific. And then my grandfather also was a Navy veteran, and a lot of the men on my mom's side of the family had been in the Navy, so it seemed kind of like a natural choice to go that route. And I, joined, like you said, in 2014. Did my training down in Pensacola, Florida, to be a CTT, which is a radar technician. So I did anti-ship missile defense and things in the cryptography world, electronic warfare, things like that. I was stationed on USS Gravely, and that's a destroyer out of Norfolk, Virginia. And then I finished my time at Information Warfare Training Group in Virginia Beach. And then when I left, I'd kind of gotten really interested in like homesteading in the last year or so that I was in the Navy. And my wife is from West Virginia originally. She was born in Martinsburg, so she kind of always wanted to come a little bit closer to home. So we decided to come up to West Virginia after I got out, and I kind of talked her into farming. She wasn't so keen on the idea at first, but after we started researching it more and more, she started to get more into it and has actually really grown to enjoy it a lot. So I was a member of this program, the Veterans and Heroes to Ag program, for 3 years before I got the job as the program manager. So I was really excited to have an opportunity to come and run the program, having been able to have benefited from being a member from it.
And what are you raising on your farm?
Currently, we're raising chickens. We do Cornish cross seasonally, and then I have a mixed flock of laying hens. I'd like to get into goats and sheep eventually, but I'm currently in the ever-ending process of fencing. So until my fencing's done, I probably won't have them for a while. But the chickens have been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot in the couple years of doing chickens. For sure, they're interesting creatures.
What kind of drew you? You mentioned the homesteading part. What kind of drew you to wanting to do more farming after military service? Was it more self-sufficiency or national food security? What kind of was some of the big selling points for you and your wife?
Definitely at first it was self-sufficiency. I really wanted to understand where my food came from, and I just wanted to do a different life than where like things were headed. I never really been a big fan of an office job, and the experience that I had in the military would have probably landed me in a contractor position for like DoD or something like that. And I just really wanted to leave that life behind. And I I thought that, the manual labor and the outdoors of farming would be more therapeutic for me post-military than, say, sitting in an air-conditioned building all day and just typing away on my keyboard. So that's a predominant reason of why I started ag. And then I actually went back to school shortly after coming to West Virginia at Potomac State College. They had a sustainable agriculture program there, and that really showed me a lot of the more nuances and things like food security. And I learned all about food deserts and things like that. And that also kind of drove me further from, instead of being a self-sufficient farm homestead, to being a member of my community that's trying to provide food that is of good quality to an area that historically has not had that opportunity.
For listeners who aren't familiar with the West Virginia Veterans and Heroes to Agriculture program, how would you sum it up? How would you explain it to somebody? What's your elevator pitch for the program?
Yeah, so we have two primary functions in the program, where we have an education scholarship that runs year round, and then we have an annual pitch competition that our members compete Shark Tank style for funds for projects on their farm. And we've funded everything from, this year we funded a microgreen operation, farm fencing. One of my members got a bunch of funding to upgrade his poultry processing so that he could double or possibly even triple his output this year. So it's a combination of education and some limited financial opportunities for members.
And so is this primarily for people who are already farming, or could it be someone who's totally new to it and needs to get some of the infrastructure to start?
It can be at any level. I actually, one of my favorite people to work with in my program right now doesn't even own a farm yet. And we sat and had an hour and a half long conversation a while ago just about what he wanted out of farming. And we really dove into the research of, the areas he was looking to buy. And I pulled USDA stats on, what good quality products are available there, like what the market looks like, and seeing what those things, if they align with his interests. Like, one of the most fun parts of the job for me is working with new farmers who are trying to figure out what they want to do, because we can really look into, it's like the world's your oyster kind of thing. We can pull a lot of data and try and build a good quality farm plan.
And are you seeing any trends with types of farm businesses that veterans want to pursue in West Virginia, like more interest in high tunnels or apiary work or different kinds of niche crops?
Absolutely. I would say the top three that people are coming to me for assistance with are apiary, looking for high tunnels, and then poultry production. West Virginia in general has a very well suited population for poultry production. So it's only natural that we're starting to see a lot of small poultry producers popping up, as well as like the larger contributors. Like, my office in Moorfield is right up the street from the Pilgrims plant, and most farms around here that are flat enough have a Pilgrims plant building on there, where they're raising chickens for Pilgrims as like a side to their business. Even though they're predominantly running cattle, there's still a lot of poultry production here too.
And are you seeing within the veteran community certain specific challenges coming up kind of again and again? Is it just funding for infrastructure? Is it, having time with side jobs to get education? Or what are those sort of themes that you see coming up a lot in West Virginia?
Funding is my number one question I get all the time, is, hey, how do I fund my project, or do you have any grants available? And that has been one of the things I've been working hard on. I've been in this role for about a year now, a little over a year. And just recently, actually, I got approved for fiscal year 27 to increase my pitch competition budget by $20,000. So we're going to have, instead of a $60,000 pool, we're going to have an $80,000 pool, which will go really well, because the last two pitches, the judges have had to really scrunch the numbers to try and make sure everybody walked away with something. Um, Following that, I've actually got approval to do a smaller mid-year, like August, September, $10,000 grant. So it'll be two winners will receive $5,000 to do small infrastructure projects on their farm, whether that be some fencing, like all the things that are really hard to get grants for. Like it's really hard to write a grant for a chicken coop, or it's really hard to write a grant for your fencing. NRCS will only fence in certain situations and things like that. And with this grant, it'll be low funds, but it will get you started.
And when you're doing this farm coaching or technical assistance, whatever you want to call it, how are you, as a veteran service provider and a veteran farmer yourself, how do you provide a little bit of the honest reality of agriculture and the challenges, with West Virginia weather, the rolling topography, the realities of the time that it takes to go to farmers market, or nurture that media component that you have to have as a farmer these days? How do you do that with encouraging people, but also sharing some of the reality of the hardship that may lie ahead?
Oh, for sure. I always start off by I have like a little questionnaire that I send out to people who want to have a meeting with me, and one of the questions that I ask is, what are your physical or mental health troubles that you would experience on the day-to-day basis? And just that alone can give me a lot of information on, how I can help guide someone into, if you're someone, for example, who struggles with mental health and you can't get up every day, well, chickens are probably not the best thing for you right now because they need daily attention. And so we'll look into something like, market vegetable gardens or something like that, where you don't have to, if you don't get to it every day, nothing's going to lose their life, kind of thing. On top of that, we have to be realistic about what we can farm. A lot of people say, "Oh, I want to come here and I want to buy 100 acres and I want to raise cattle." And raising cattle is doable in West Virginia, but like they said, the topography and the rolling hills don't always allow. You're not necessarily going to find the most cattle-friendly property. So we do have to sit down and do a lot of reality checks. And a lot of times, my first meeting with somebody will be on the longer side of an hour to almost an hour and a half, because that first 45 minutes we're talking about the realities of what it is to farm here, and what your expectations should really be.
And the West Virginia Department of Ag has several programs that can help farmers with marketing, visibility, and business development. How does Veterans and Heroes to Agriculture help members understand those opportunities and chances and kind of figure out which ones of those might fit their farm best?
So we work very closely with the programs that the department offers. I'm under business development, which also is the West Virginia Grown label. I know many states have their own like producers um, preferred label. We have a blended version of that with West Virginia Grown, so you can join our program and join. It's a Farmer Veteran Coalition. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're a national entity that has a blended logo with 23 different states. West Virginia is one of them. That's the Homegrown by Heroes label. So that gives you the access to all the benefits of being in West Virginia Grown, and it also gives you the benefits of being in Farmer Veteran Coalition. And I work as a mediator between those two programs to make sure that they're getting the benefits of both of those labels. On top of that, we do free label review for the department. So anyone who's a West Virginia Grown member can submit their labels to make sure that they're reviewed properly, that they meet regulation, and that everything is squared away on that front, so that they are legally within the bounds of labeling their food correctly for West Virginia for cottage food laws and things like that. And I also connect them. The department has regional business planning coordinators. So those folks are really, really knowledgeable on what permits you need, what like legal structure you have. And whenever I'm introducing myself to the program, I always carbon copy the program manager for West Virginia Grown and the appropriate regional planning coordinator who knows the business side of everything. So they get connected with those two individuals right off the bat.
And over the next year, are there any upcoming trainings, or you mentioned the pitch competitions, but any grants or marketing resources that West Virginia veterans should kind of keep on their radar of, getting their business plan ready for that pitch competition or anything like that timeline wise?
Definitely. So the pitch competition application opens in December, usually first week of December, and then the actual pitch competition is in March. So you have 1 month to submit your application, and then in January we'll review and let you know if you make it to the in-person event. Our scholarship program is revolving, so throughout the entire fiscal year, all you have to do is get in contact with me and talk to me about what program or class you're interested in taking. We reimburse up to $600 per year. So you can use that however you want, whether that be, six $100 courses or put it towards one really big course. It's your prerogative, as long as it is geared either towards agriculture or business expansion. Like, I had someone this past year do a grant writing class so that they could learn about grant opportunities and try and get more money. And I'm more than happy to have that be an aspect of the scholarship. So I highly recommend that if you are a member of the program, that you really utilize our scholarship program. I've seen a lot of people gain a lot of knowledge from it, and not enough of our members are using it.
And where is your sort of home base and, geography wise, where are some sort of hubs for farmer veterans in West Virginia?
So my primary office where I'm at right now is in Moorfield, West Virginia, which is in the Eastern Panhandle. And then we have a primary location in Morgantown. There's another major office down there for the department that I travel to regularly. And then of course, Charleston, in the Guthrie office, the main headquarters of the Department of Ag. I travel all over the state. Currently, I'm looking to hire an assistant right now, but I currently run for all 55 counties. If you're a veteran down in McDowell County and you want to meet me, I'll find a way to get down there. So it's a matter of, I will go and meet you where you need me to meet you. There's not a part of the state I won't go to find you.
Awesome. And are there any other sort of hidden gems in West Virginia, resources that you feel like the veteran community isn't sort of taken advantage of, or isn't looking into as much as they should?
Definitely working with the Small Business Development Center. The West Virginia Small Business Development Center is a huge partner of mine. They're a supporting member of our pitch competition. One representative from the SBDBC, I can never remember their full acronym, but those folks, they're always one of my judges on my panel. So I also have them review. We started doing it this past pitch, but we review everyone's application with an assigned member from the Small Business Development Committee to help really hone your business plan and go over your pitch and things like that. And I got a lot of good feedback this past time on how that really helped our folks prepare really successfully for our pitch. And we had a really good pitch this past year because of it.
That's awesome. Well, and you said that on your farm, you're raising chickens right now. How are you finding using some of these marketing tools is really helping, your business? Are you guys selling birds direct to consumer, or, going through restaurants? How are you guys using them?
So we sell every conceivable way you can think of. We have a website, which I got a lot of good input from the Small Business Development Committee. I'm also a member of West Virginia Grown and Homegrown by Heroes, so we have that labeling on on all of our products. We are a registered farmers market on farm, so we can do direct sales. I also sell to local restaurants, and I also sell directly to a local grocery chain. Actually carries our chicken as well. So we have three different avenues for sales in the state right now, and it's been a really awesome learning experience from the program and all the different resources that I had no idea existed until now. Like, definitely utilizing the label and utilizing the planning coordinators too, because the planning coordinator for my local region has gotten me in touch with businesses that are looking to sell products that, like chicken or whatever. If they know a business is looking for something, they will help connect you with a seller.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what would be the best way? I'll put it in the show notes, but how should people reach you if they're just listening to this in their truck or tractor? What would be a great way for them to get in touch with you?
Emailing me is definitely the best way to get a hold of me, to initiate the conversation, and then we can always go from phone calls from there. But my email address is ndayton@wvda.us. You can also email directly to the Vets and Heroes to Ag inbox. I'll get those as well, so that's listed on our website as well.
Nick, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your vantage point as a Navy veteran, as a pasture poultry farmer, and as a resident of West Virginia. You are key to help veterans in West Virginia navigate resources available, and I urge people to get in contact with you. For listeners in West Virginia, we're going to include the Veterans and Heroes to Ag page in the show notes, so you can easily jump on that link, check out their website, learn how to apply to their pitch competition grant funding. Highly recommend doing that for farm infrastructure projects that you're having a hard time funding yourself. For veterans, service members, and military families who are exploring farming or getting a beginning farm business started, the VetFarm Network, we offer one-on-one farm coaching at no cost, technical assistance that's going to help you think through your goals, resources, next steps, helping you write your business plan. We also want to invite you to our next VetFarm Network live office hours on July 9th. These happen monthly, and this month we're going to be talking all about Christmas tree farming. So you pick operations, wholesaling, just trying to identify if your land is right for Christmas tree farming as an enterprise for your farm. So you're welcome to join us, whether you're considering Christmas tree farming or not. You can just listen in, you can drop in for 5 minutes, or you can join for the whole hour. These are recurring, and you need to get the Zoom link sent to you. It's not a public link, so head on over to our website if you're interested in the link, or feel free to email me and I can send it over to you. And this episode is part of the American VetFarm Network, a program of Addie's Orchard funded by USDA 2501 grant. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.